Help me reach 500 subscribers. My husband came home early that evening, and nothing after that moment followed the rules I thought governed my life. I was standing in the kitchen, still wearing my work blouse, when the door opened and his keys dropped into the bowl. My boss was there, not hiding, not touching me, just standing too close for comfort, and the silence stretched long enough to expose every choice I had made. I expected shouting, accusations, maybe the kind of anger that shatters plates and years alike. Instead, my husband looked at us, nodded once, and asked if he should make tea. That calm unsettled me more than any rage could have. 4 months, our marriage had been brittle, polite, and careful, the kind of relationship that survives on schedules and avoids questions. I told myself we were busy, that stress explained the distance, that love simply changed shape with time. When my boss started staying late, listening longer, praising my work with a warmth I had forgotten existed, I convinced myself it was harmless. Nothing happened, I repeated, because nothing physical had happened yet. I learned too late that betrayal begins long before bodies move. My husband set his bag down and washed his hands like this was an ordinary interruption. He asked my boss how traffic was, whether the meeting ran long, whether the coffee downtown was still terrible. Each word felt deliberate, measured, almost generous. I stood there frozen, heart pounding, waiting for the explosion that never came. My boss shifted, offered excuses that sounded thin even to him, and said he should leave. My husband smiled and told him there was no rush. In that moment, I felt smaller than I ever had. I realized how much I had underestimated the man I married. He had always been quiet, observant, the type who listened more than he spoke. I mistook that for passivity, for absence. Watching him now, I understood it was restraint. He had noticed the late nights, the sudden interest in clothes, the way I guarded my phone. He had noticed everything and chosen silence. When my boss finally left, the door closing softly behind him, the house felt enormous. I tried to explain, to frame it as confusion, as a lapse in judgment fueled by loneliness. My husband listened without interrupting, the same way he listened to everyone. When I finished, he asked one question, only one, and it landed heavier than any accusation. He asked if I respected him. I opened my mouth and realized I didn't know the answer. He told me he wasn't angry because anger would mean surprise. He said he had prepared himself for this possibility months ago, when my eyes stopped meeting his. He had already grieved the version of us that was honest. What he felt now was clarity. He said clarity was a gift even when it hurt. Then he thanked me for not lying in that moment, for letting him see the truth with his own eyes. I expected ultimatums, demands, maybe a desperate attempt to fix things. Instead, he explained his boundaries with a calm that felt surgical. He would not compete for my attention. He would not police my choices. He would not beg. He said trust, once fractured, could not be glued back together by promises. It required respect, and respect required actions that aligned with words. Until then, he would step back. That night, he slept in the guest room not as punishment but as space. The following days were quiet, eerily functional. He cooked, went to work, paid bills, and treated me with a politeness that felt like a wall. Friends asked if we were okay, and he smiled and said we were figuring things out. I realized then how much power there was in composure. His reaction removed my excuses and left me alone with my choices. I tried to reclaim his attention, to provoke a response, to feel forgiven without earning it. He remained steady. He said he loved me, but love without respect was not enough to build a life. He encouraged me to decide what I wanted, not what felt flattering or convenient. He refused to rush a resolution, refusing to be rushed out of his own dignity. Weeks later, my boss transferred departments, and the attention evaporated. What remained was the mirror my husband had held up. I saw how easily I had traded stability for validation. I saw how I had mistaken being desired for being valued. My husband's reaction taught me that strength doesn't always raise its voice. Sometimes it simply steps aside and lets consequences speak. When I look back on that evening, I no longer focus on my shock. I focus on the lesson I didn't expect. Betrayal seeks drama, but integrity responds with clarity. My husband didn't explode because he didn't need to. His calm ended the story I was trying to write and forced me to face the one I had actually lived. I once believed reactions defined character, that volume equaled truth. That night rewrote that belief. My husband's restraint became a standard I could not ignore. It showed me the cost of flirting with boundaries, the price of attention borrowed from the wrong place. I don't know what our future will be, and he never pretended certainty was owed. What I do know is that dignity changes the balance of power. It removes the noise and leaves only truth. I learned that love isn't proven by jealousy, and commitment isn't measured by control. It is revealed by choices made without witnesses. and by the courage to walk away when respect disappears. That lesson once learned does not fade. It waits, steady, demanding honesty long after the moment passes. It is the kind of truth that stays, shaping decisions quietly. I carry it forward, aware that calm can be louder than chaos, and that consequences arrive whether invited or not, asking only that we recognize them when they do.